All right, welcome to episode 2 of The Vault, where we talk all things business, health, fitness, you name it, right?
You name it. That's it.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
going to cover it all.
That's it. I'm Tim Regan, one of the hosts and co-host with me, Jason Markowicz.
Glad to be here.
Here we are, man.
Let's go.
So round 2. So last time we talked a little bit about kind of franchising, the Fitness Premier brand, and some of the things that you guys have going on in your business. And I think really that's the whole point of The Vault, right? This is going to be a podcast where we can talk business, get some other people in. But it's also a physical space too. We've got right here in beautiful downtown Frankfort, the first of maybe what'll be many business social clubs designed around helping people get really smart about their business and their physical fitness and health, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
So
round
let's,
2, man.
round 2, let's go. So I think today maybe we spend a little bit of time talking about, help everybody that's listening understand a little bit about maybe who you are, maybe a little bit more about your story, your background, and then maybe ultimately what led you to being here with us here at the Vault.
Yeah. So our story goes back quarter of a century. I like to say it that way. Sometimes I sound like older than I am.
You look good for that type of
telling you,
age.
man. Yeah, I'm getting like old as shit. But yeah, so like 25 years ago, started as a financial advisor and really thought that was the path for me. Still in that financial advisory business. But what I found over the course of the last 25 years or so is I'm really a business guy, and financial planner happens to be what I'm executing that business in. And so today we're really all about kind of point A to Z on the financial services business, personal financial services. So my philosophy is that every business has a spectrum. You guys have it in your business. We have it in ours. At the very front end of that spectrum is your client experience. It's where you're interacting with the end user, and that's usually where your secret sauce is. Every step that you take away from the end user becomes less and less secret sauce and more delegatable. And so like in your business, your gym owners probably couldn't delegate what their personal trainers are doing with their clients one-on-one because that person wants to connect with that trainer in a big way. But the people at your clubs probably don't care what accounting software you use, right? Because that's way out here on the other end of that spectrum, farthest away from that client experience.
For sure.
And so in our business, we really own 3 businesses. The first one is the financial services business or advice business, where we give financial advice, tax advice, wealth management to the end user client.
Yep.
We have a business that does what we call middle office, which would do financial plan preparation, trade execution, just things that it takes to run a financial advisory business. And then we have at the end of that, kind of farthest away from that secret sauce, a back office business that handles and allows other financial advisory firms to kind of act like a co-op. And we'll do their compliance, we'll do their HR, we'll do technology, the stuff that the client never sees and really is pretty boring. It's not the reason why people became a financial advisor, right?
Yeah.
And let them focus on why did they become a
That's
financial
awesome.
advisor.
That's awesome. Maybe talk just real quick about how they kind of, maybe because you have a couple verticals there that seem like they support and feed each other pretty well. So just maybe high level for the listeners of how that all came to be.
Yeah, then they do. So really it came because I sat there and I'm like, it seemed kind of dumb to me that we had millions of financial advisors that really just wanted to sit down and talk to clients. None of them wanted to do the middle office stuff. That's where it started, was the middle office. And I'm like, the client doesn't care. You're doing the same stuff I'm doing. And the client doesn't care if I use blue ink and you use black ink. Like none of that matters because it's all the same. And so what was keeping individual financial advisory firms from being able to scale was that they didn't have the right size to go out and hire all of those functions. If you think about it, the one I like to pick on the most is certified financial planners. So to be a CFP, that's a pretty highly compensated role. You've got a lot of education behind you. If I'm a practice, that eats into my bottom line pretty high. And I probably don't have enough volume to hire that guy to come in or gal to come in and work full time. So instead, I hire them. Either I hire them part time and I get part time results, or I hire them full time, and then I get pissed off because they're sitting there because they don't have enough work to do. And they're my highest paid employee. Next thing you know, I'm like, take out the garbage, do whatever, because it's driving me nuts because I'm paying them so much, and they're not producing all the time.
We've all been there
a couple of times, right? And so then the concept was, well, why don't we just build the business that allows those businesses to scale?
Sure.
And so now they can plug in, get a 10-year high-level CFP when they need it, but when they don't, that person can work on some other stuff that other people need, and let you scale your business up and down.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, we think about it in a kind of a similar way in the fitness side where we try to take all the administrative support off of our franchisees' plate so that they can focus on what's going to move the needle most for their business.
Yeah.
And where a lot of the hard work comes in.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, a lot of the
Yeah,
focus needs
and
to be-
and because of that, you probably see, I'm sure you see it in your business. There's some gyms and facilities that probably operate at a higher level than others. And when you look at it, it's probably because the operators there have a secret sauce that they're putting in, whether it's they put in a little more work or they made that extra phone call
Yeah.
to get the person to sign up or whatever. And that's their secret sauce, right?
Sure.
So let them run and focus just on their secret sauce. And
Yeah.
to your point, you take all the other stuff off of their
Yeah,
off their
for
plate.
sure. All right, is it okay if I put you in a hot seat for a second?
Here it is,
We
man.
didn't prep any of these questions, so so being a financial guru, I'm obviously I'm a client of yours. Full disclosure, we talk a lot about the two comma life is I think your MO, right?
It
I
is.
think you maybe talk a little bit about. I think you just came out with a book recently that you just wrapped up,
The
if I'm
book
not
is getting
mistaken.
finished now. It'll be out end of summer for in print.
Okay.
Yeah. Name of the book is Shatter Your Fishbowl, Live Your Two Comma Life.
Talk to us about that. Like, where does that come from? What's the story behind that?
Yeah. Thanks. So the two comma life, we'll start there. If you think about how many
Or
commas,
3 commas, right?
Well,
I like
to. That's our secret, right? We'll get to the threes in a minute. So the two comma life is all about when you think about $1 million, there's 2 commas in a million. And for some people, they think, wow, $1 million, I could never make that much money. And then there's other people that couldn't live on $1 million a year. So it's not about the money. But if I said to you, you're going to live a millionaire's lifestyle, all of a sudden that conjures up ideas of living in freedom, living in abundance, not scarcity, being able to spend time with the people you want, when you want to do it, being generous with people. So that's the two comma life that we're talking about.
Love.
Whether it's $1 billion, which would be 3 commas, or just $1 million, or even 100,000, whatever your number is. The shatter your fishbowl part, though, is really about your mindset. If you've ever heard it, they talk about a goldfish will only grow to the size of the bowl that it's in.
Sure. Yeah.
And my thought is that every one of us creates our own fishbowl. Sometimes it's created because I grew up in a family that had a lot of money, or I grew up in a family that didn't have a lot of money.
Sure. Yeah.
Or I started a business and failed, or whatever those things are, right? I have these constraints that I arbitrarily put on myself. And if we're careful and intentional about it, we can see the fishbowl. Right now, you don't see it. You don't even know it's there, but it's that glass ceiling, or however you want to phrase it, that's keeping you confined. And by going through a series of processes, I believe we can all shatter it, which then ultimately will let us get to that point where we're living that.
Love
that
it.
two comma life.
Love that. It's almost like elevating that belief system, right? So much of what we do, and I think the habits we create is around what we believe is possible. So and it just reminds me of this, like, take the limits off of it and just go for it.
Well, it's crazy. Like, so even when you sit down and think, like we've all done it. We all have like a secret thing. Like maybe it's your 3 commas, right? There's a secret thing that you want to do, and you're like, you don't even want to say it out loud because you're afraid to say it out loud, right?
Sure,
And
yeah.
you're afraid, like, if I said it out loud, I hope nobody heard it because they're going to think it's dumb, or it's going to. But then you have to take a step back and you're like, why, right? Why would I have that self-limiting belief? Especially when it comes to like just becoming uncomfortable and growing. Like you look at it and you're like, the next 5 years of your life are going to go by whether you want them to or not. At the end of 5, do you want to be saying I did or I wish I had?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's all that kind of stuff.
Love it.
Yeah. So there's 10 steps, I think, to how do you shatter that fishbowl. So we thought we'd sit down and write a book. And
Or all 10 in the book then?
All
You got to
10 in
read
the
the
book.
book to get the 10 steps?
You got to read the book to get the 10, probably because I don't remember them off the top of my head right now because we're spitballing. If you're going to give me notes, I could have brought them. But yeah, no, we could talk about at least some of them. 'Cause
Sure.
they're top of mind,
Yeah,
so.
we'll weave those in over the next couple episodes
Yeah.
for sure. And when's the book going to be out? When's it going to be ready?
So it's in second round of editing now. Then and cover design, we've got to go to layout, and then
Okay.
do a little pre-marketing. So I'm thinking
Yeah.
end of summer is
Awesome.
the target.
Yeah, go coming up.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Yeah. The manuscript is written though. That was the
That's the
heavy lift.
Yeah, that's the tough stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, congrats. That's exciting stuff.
Yeah, I'm
Not
excited about
everybody puts the work in and the mental energy to accomplish something like that. So
Well,
kudos
you
for
know,
that.
when your mental energy doesn't amount to much, it's easy to do. So on my side, that's not a heavy lift, right?
While we're talking investing, maybe let's talk a little bit about just some tips or thoughts around the current political environment. We got tariffs, we got financial investing. Should we Should I stay in the market? Should I get out of the market? What are some things that you're suggesting to some of your clients in today's world?
Yeah, 1,000%. So first of all, should I get out of the market, tariffs, all that kind of stuff? Everything needs to point back to your true north. Why are we doing this, right? What is this investment for? What's the purpose? And if that purpose hasn't changed, then you probably shouldn't do a whole lot of change into your strategy.
Sure, that makes sense.
And so it's no different than, I'll pick on you for a little bit. A while ago, you're like, you know what? I need to lean out. And so you decided to hit a program. You started watching what you're eating. You started doing changing exercise a little bit because you wanted to lean out. I'm sure there were times when you were doing that you're like, crap, this sucks, right? Or
Sure.
I hit a hard point. I didn't get enough sleep last night. And so my workout, should I still do my workout or shouldn't I? Didn't sleep well.
Yeah.
Or I went to a party and had too much tequila. That kind of blew my plan. Just because you had those minor setbacks, it didn't change your true north. It didn't change the fact that you still wanted to be leaning out and get to some health and fitness goals that you had, right?
Yep.
So it's very similar. Unless something major changes, there's not a whole lot of reason to drastically change strategy. Now, your advisor should always be modifying the portfolio. I mean, there's always things to be saying, hey, let's maybe get out of this and move a little bit here, but it's not wholesale strategy change. It's no different than you going to the gym that day and saying, I'm going to put 5 pounds more on the bench because I feel a little stronger today.
Yeah.
But you didn't say, I'm not benching today and I'm going to do deadlifts because, something's completely different.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Stick with the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Stick with the plan. Love it. Any big predictions in the next 12 months?
I think buried in there, though, was this tariff conversation. From my perspective, I have a really hard time thinking that this tariff conversation is bad overall when I think about what it's trying to accomplish. Now, the tactics, it kind of goes back to kind of what's that true north. And so if I think about what it's trying to accomplish, it's hard to think that those things are bad. We're trying to get more jobs in the U.S. We're trying to have more fair trade with other parties. We're trying to make equal the amount of money that we're spending on defense types of things that other countries are. We don't want to be the policeman of the world right now. As I start looking at some of those things, and then intertwined in there are things like, let's try to lower our national debt. Let's try to balance a budget. Those things, if I just said those, I don't know that there's a whole lot of people that would say, no, I don't want to do that, right?
Yeah.
We're probably all saying, yeah, that sounds pretty good. But what happens is when you throw in the tactics to get there, or you throw in the political backdrop, all of a sudden it becomes a hot topic.
Sure.
And it's so funny. Grace, my youngest, and I were in D.C. over a spring break this year. She's a senior in high school, but she was a COVID kid, so never had her like 8th grade trip to DC kind of deal.
Gotcha. I was going to say, what a spring break for a senior in high school.
Actually, she loved it. She picked it. She wanted to go to DC, but then we did New York City too. I think New York City was probably the hook that got her.
Sure.
Go
shopping.
with that, right? But when we're there, went down into Ford's Theater. That's where Abraham Lincoln was shot. And in the basement of Ford's Theater, they have a museum-ish of Abraham Lincoln stuff. And one of the things there talks about his first 100 days. And when you look at his first 100 days, what he did was he cut the federal workforce by 2/3, and he increased tariffs to all of our trading partners. So, like, I don't know if Trump was like, let's see, what else do other people do? Let me pick one of these, or if it's just coincidental. But I thought it was kind of crazy how
there's a playbook there.
Yeah, those corresponded so
wow.
much,
Wow. That's amazing. Well, this has been fun. Let me ask you one final question, Tim. So when you think about like your profession and what you do for business and how it relates to what we have going on here at the Vault and with our professional networking space of, how do you see some of the things that you do within your business transcending through the membership base and how we can support each other as local business owners together?
Oh yeah, it's super, super easy for me. When I look at it from my perspective, and we'll be having a conversation in the next week or two is scheduled, even around like the book and things. We've got a member in the Vault whose specialty is trademark and patent law. I've got a lot of trademarking that I want to do. And I think that that's probably going to end up being, if you look at our businesses, I think that our combined intellectual property is probably going to end up ultimately being worth more than maybe the business itself. And so having that connection to somebody in the Vault I can talk to them across the beer. I can, it works really well that way. I also think though about, we've got a member whose specialty is in health insurance and some other benefit types of things for employees.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's all about those relationships, and hearing him tell me about some of the things that they're doing, I'm like, oh, well, maybe I need to dust off what our offering is.
Yeah.
And maybe increase it too. So.
Yeah, it's been fun to see the membership basis that's grown organically of just seeing the different ways professionals have come into and how they all really support and feed one another, right? When you think about some of the things that we're all looking for, whether it's banking, law, insurance, financial planning, franchise, whatever it is, it's been neat to see it just organically, unintentionally kind of morph into just entrepreneurs being attracted by other entrepreneurs and professionals. And yeah, I'm excited to turn it into an environment that everybody can thrive in here with you.
100%. Well, and what I think it is, there's an old saying that I think James Clear said it or wrote it. If you want to, I'll botch it, so don't say it's a quote, but something like if you want to be something, go to a place where the people that are already that is their common life, right? Like, and what we're seeing there is we're all business owners. They're all looking to accelerate the growth of our business. But we're also looking to do that in a lot of areas of our life, right? Like how many people do we talk to down there? They're talking about how can they eat cleaner? How can they, what's their training regimen? How can they add lifespan onto their life, not just health span, not just lifespan, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, real life scenario stuff, right? That everybody wants to focus on and thrive in.
Yeah.
Love it, man.
Yeah, so I love it. I mean, I think that it's going to be a great place. Personally, I do.
Well, you're stuck now. You're kind of pot committed at this point.
Yeah. How about it? Yeah. Our journey's been one. It went slow and then fast, right? I mean, I started renting space from you guys just to set up our podcast studio a couple of years ago or so, and now all of a sudden we've got some partnerships going, and
next thing you know, you're in full throttle. So
yeah, that's right.
I like your style, and we're excited to have you and be a partner with you, and looking forward to many episodes to come here. And
so coming up next episodes, right? So we'll probably have, like we talked about, maybe have the benefits person come in. Maybe we'll have an attorney come in, talk about some of that IP stuff.
Sure.
And bring some folks in. So I'd say if you're interested in being on the podcast, you've got a business, you want to be part of our community, go online, fill out a form, submit it, and we'll take a look. If you want to join the Vault, same thing, right? Vaultfrankfort.com, if I remember right.
Yep, that's it.
And until we talk to you guys next time,
we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
All right.
Be well.
Take care.